Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. I'd like to welcome you back to Star Trek Adventures Aegis and the Starry Compass Part 3. That is Part 3 of Episode 13, our current episode, which, for those on the channel who don't recall, we use episodes to describe the basic adventure that we are in, and as you well know by this point, these often break down into multi-part affairs. So we hope that you are enjoying them. I have to say, as a GM, and to the extent I was a spectator through it, last part was exceptionally good to watch. There was some excellent player drama, and certainly those of you in the archive are coming off of that. So I hope that you enjoyed that as much as we did bringing it to you. Before we get started, I have just a couple shout outs to bring up. In particular, bears reference to people that are joining us in the live stream today, so their shout outs will also have a description in the video. The first shout out I would send would be towards Clockwork Crane. She is a variety streamer and a very talented artist who has done art for my avatars in the past, and the one I currently use now. Follow her on. She's on Twitter. She's on Twitch, and if you like what you see, there is even a Discord there that is definitely worth joining. At the very least, it helps keep you up on the on her streaming schedule. So definitely check that out. I dare say, I think I remember she might even have some spots open for commissioned art right now. So I would highly suggest looking into that too. Also, going for a shout out would be our good friend, the Overland Gamer, aka Joe, who has been doing some Star Trek Resurgence over on his Twitch channel. And of course, he joins us for Broken Sword on Wednesdays as the old helm officer, Mr. Azek Korg. Right now, he's playing a slightly different character, joining us for the limited run series that we're doing as of time of this recording. But he will be back for Broken Sword, as will we all, on the 28th. So that of June of this year. So in any case, check them out, and also check out their Overland Gamer podcast. They do really interesting stuff, traveling to different game stores, looking at different board games, ttrpgs, all manner of other things like that. So, with all that said, let's recap this last episode, and then we can get into our previous, or we can get back into play here. When last we left off, the Aegis had arrived at a battle site between the Vulcans and Andorians. Obviously, for the past roughly 2 months at this point, there has been an absolutely vicious conflict being fought between them, which, despite your best efforts to, well, at that point, really, you were focused more on preventing conflict between Earth and Tellar, but it seems that there was a concurrent track that emerged and spurred a very destructive war that has had large-scale tolls and has obviously weighed heavily on some members of the crew, most especially Lieutenant Sheara. Uh, this would become plain later in other ways, but your focus has been drawn to a third party that you found among the wreckage of this battle site, those belonging to a small crew of explorers, a human, a Denobulan, and an Aurelian. These three people, from different backgrounds and missions that they had been pursuing, came together in what appeared to be unlikely circumstances. They had met up and shared work that seemed to have interesting overlap. They came to an interesting conclusion. It seems that Dr. Natala, the Denobulan woman, who is formerly of a fully fledged um, Denobulan research vessel, and Kara Sloan, a human woman from Alpha Centauri, Earth's independent colony, and also a descendant of one of the pioneers of the early warp program back on Earth. They seem to have independently discovered signs of a very similar um, sort of set of markings or hieroglyphs from structures on planets dozens of light years apart. These very intricate, complicated glyphs and depictions seem to not only express like some sort of interesting bits of language, but they had at least partially translated to determine that there was more of a sophisticated alphanumeric sequence, and that there was mapping, star mapping in particular, which not just showed positions as they are in real space, but also suggested the ability to map subspace, a higher dimensional form of reality that is essentially a factor for any of you because it is the means by which a ship will navigate through warp drive. When you activate your warp engines, you kind of engage with this, or you traverse subspace in part. Um, the idea that any sort of Bronze Age level civilization, or even earlier, which these were what the temples, these were the uh, eras when these temples produced those items. It's simply astounding. And the Aurelian figure with them, Tenkite Ren, took notice of this and started trying to help them formulate the data, try to get some further meaning behind it, and they caught a bit of a dead end, as they told you. They wound up deciding that they needed something more sophisticated than the small ship's computer that they had at their disposal, and so they were following Kara back home. The three of them were traveling on a very small, scarcely larger than a shuttle vessel, basically the equivalent of a small courier vessel. Unfortunately, they seemed to come under attack by the Vulcans, who tried to abscond with their vessel. The Andorians arrived, and this is what led to the encounter you found here. Neither of them are entirely sure why this triggered such a large-scale engagement, and they're not even sure how they picked them up and what this could actually refer to here, or rather why any of this means anything of this significance. Um, all they know at this point is that they have found something clear and they want to figure it out. They want to learn. And most crucially, they have accepted your help in doing this. So, as you sent them away to consider your offer to help, Colonel Sharp, you and the rest of your crew considered a discussion of what to do about the remains of the fleet. There was actually a point of contention when you tried to discuss not simply pulling intelligence off some of the ships and destroying the sensitive components, but actually trying to salvage weapons, shielding, and other advanced technologies from the ship. That quickly became a non-starter for Lieutenant Sheara, who in that moment made very clear that she would have no part of this, and resulted actually in her being relieved of duty. There was a very difficult discussion, which some of you had to manage your thoughts and feelings on the matter. Others had to be sort of reeled in. I'll leave the specifics on that resolution, or at least how we got there, to the last episode, because my words could but pale in comparison to what the players did through roleplay last week. In any case, the decision was made to pull back on the orders and simply limit it to pulling intelligence and doing what you can to dispose of anything too sensitive. And all of that is about where we left off, save for the fact that Mr. Soral, your ship's Vulcan guide and resident madman, seems to have gotten a start on translating some of the data. In particular, he has some sort of unique device on his own smaller ship. Likewise, very similar, a sort of courier-style vessel that seemed to be yielding very quick and interesting results. And we'll touch more on that as we get back to him. But first, there is a mission currently in progress, so that will, for a start, that is going to put us back out into space with the Aegis overlooking the debris field and a brief log from the captain.
Yep. Captain's log, supplemental. Mako Colonel Lillian Sharp, October 14th, 2154. The intel acquisition is underway to recover the databases of the wrecked ships, delayed a couple hours in order to accommodate Soral's request at an unexpected complexity of transferring data from the Lily. It's my hope that the databases will bring more pieces to not only this puzzle, but other puzzles have yet to complete further. While I have already heard theories of the subspace map the Lily and her crew have discovered, further details are still needed to be deciphered, with Soral and Patel still looking through translation in order to get any concrete charts. While this is going on, the wreckage has brought many stresses to the various members of the crew, myself included. Thankfully, I have an exceptional crew that can keep their head and mind on straight. Now it's my turn to return the favor.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if memory serves, with the complications from the earlier orders resolved, the idea was to have Sheara and a smaller team go to start going through the Andorian ships, and then Soral was going to be part of a team towards the that would go to the Vulcan ships. I think Romanov was interspersed somewhere in there. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we had decided which team she was going on. I am flexible on that, although she'd probably let the captain know that Felix is more than capable of doing the Vulcan ship, so
You mean
my
Soral?
expertise might be better spent on the Andorian ships.
I mean, I'm sure Felix is plenty capable of being galaxy quested into a spaceship. Or from what I know of him, he's less likely to die immediately.
Listen, that's a holiday episode right there. We all get just galaxy quested on the Aegis.
No.
Yes, absolutely, 100% yes.
That only happens on the game
He
where
will.
Crichton's like suffering hypoxia.
I am focusing on the mission on hand and trying to figure out the breakdown of groups.
Soral's better at engineering, and Eula probably needs some engineer as backup.
Yeah. But you've made the unfortunate thing is you've made your sort of pitch very clear, and Romanov is definitely your bestie. So Patel, you're going to go with you're going to be babysitter, as it were.
For Sheara.
For Sheara.
Okay.
For Sheara Romanov.
Yeah. Patel fades out of existence from the bridge, just realizing he's no longer in the science chair.
Wait, Romanov needs a
Killed him.
babysitter?
Homer Simpsoning my way into the bulkhead.
Romanov needs a babysitter?
Because
Obviously.
I'm worried that if Sheara gets any strange Andorian super loyalty ideas, that Romanov will be all like, yeah, sure. So there needs to be somebody to voice.
So you need someone with sense on the ship, and you choose Patel.
Somebody with
Because
a
she's from Alpha Centauri, you're suspicious.
somebody
The
with
captain's
spine.
running out of options, so yeah, Patel's it.
Send justice.
You want to send justice? Then
No,
sure.
no.
Okay.
I mean, Chief Justice might well
Yeah.
be flying the shuttlecraft to get you out there. It's worth noting that after the events of the last episode, you are currently down one shuttle pod, and were therefore forced to use Soral's ships for one of the flights.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have suggested that anyway because I expect it be easier docking on the Vulcan Rex with a Vulcan
Well,
shuttle.
it's also as I can't the Aegis can't be in two places at once. So having your ship, at least you have a warp drive, and you can just get the fuck out of there. And I don't need to pick you up.
Yeah, and for some reason, Chief Justice is flying both ships, and it's weird.
He's like, oh, two shuttles, and just split himself in half.
Oh
No,
yeah.
they had a transporter accident. There's a transporter. There was a transporter accident. There's J1 and J2.
No. There was a transporter accident, but no one has noticed because they've never been in the same place once.
Yeah, and Chief Justice and Ensign Crimes.
Very good.
I guess it was
But
either
yeah,
going to be that or.
Soral.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Soral will get Moira if you're fine with that, Brian.
Oh, go! Please repeat that. I'm having a little bit of an audio problem.
You're gonna get your security officer.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Whatever you guys want me to do. So.
And random engineer number 2. I don't know.
Actually, I've got a suggestion on that.
Or a scientist.
Well, the environmental engineer who appeared in the episode on the base was very good. The gruff guy.
The prospect of violence.
Yeah.
There isn't. I should say that you guys don't have to worry about there being too much of an activation or like major scenes there. This is just something to inform.
Well, the reason.
All right. So this is just for Soral, it's just going to be, random assortment of officers that he needs to help out with that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alaska will give you a recommendation list for you to choose from.
From the start that we get on the bridge, yes, you are seeing data points from both ships. The largest of the Dakir class vessels or the most intact among them anyway, has already been moving throughout the ship. They are collecting bits of information as they go, but have nothing to report as of yet. For Sheara's team, or Patel's team, however you want to conceptualize it, they managed to dock on a very badly damaged Kumari class vessel, that as clearly as you can make out. So,
and I would hope that my bridge crew and my officers are good enough never to say the Q word, especially in these kind of tense situations, right?
Well, she doesn't even know the Q word.
Good.
I don't know what keyword you're referring to, so
Quiet.
Maybe Q-tip?
The word is quiet. You never say quiet in these sort of tense situations. Sort of like, what's the worst that can happen?
I'm going to refresh here because
Nope.
I mean, Soral is just 20 years from retirement. It is fine.
Rawls not going to say it. 20 years to retirement is too close.
Yeah, I will say here actually, just because the rest of what I was going on will probably get edited down. We're having some slight issues at the time of recording, so that I hope you'll excuse the presence of Sloan, Soral, and Crichton there. They were left over from the previous scene, and they're just the gremlins are out today apparently. Seems to have passed. I'm hoping that it stays that way. I'm uncertain as to what's going on with that. My apologies. We're going to keep the stream going, and just hope that that does not trouble us so much now. To set our current scene, where we were trying to go before everything kind of went messy. Sheara, you are presently on one of the Kamari class vessels. I will leave it to Romanov and Patel as to whether they decide to stick close and follow you, or if they have other options. I guess the question would be, since you've been sent to retrieve the information, would you be heading towards a particular part of the ship to try and access that, or how would you be proceeding?
I think we'd go towards either the bridge or the computer core.
And I imagine we're probably EV suited, right? Like we're
Yes. Yeah.
No atmosphere here.
Yeah.
Unless you could breathe space and would like a little suntan of radiation or whatever else is out there.
Yeah. Let's say for our purposes, despite the fact the set is not working for completely different Stream Gremlin reasons, apparently, we'll say that we pan in on the camera with you going down a darkened hallway. In ordinary times, either on routine operation or during battle alert, the hallways would be at least sufficiently illuminated with a whitish blue tinge. There'd probably be more of a violet tone during battle conditions. As you know, Sheara, the alert system on an Andorian ship not gives you not simply visual cues, but certain extrasensory issues, or rather indications. Some that you are, because of your antennae, you would be uniquely sorted to parse out versus your human crew. So it's maybe more extrasensory for them, less so for you. And in this case, it's a very grim setting with completely darkened corridors. The plasma has probably drained from all the conduits with the sheer number of impacts that the vessel has taken. Plasma long having vented out. Artificial gravity is also an issue, so you are relying on the magnetic boot seals, essentially, to keep you grounded to the deck. It forces every step to be careful, and you deliberately walk through the corridor, pressing aside bits of debris until you manage to reach the entry door to the bridge. That likewise is. Oh, go ahead.
Is it locked or barred, or or can we open it easily?
I'll say that for narrative purposes, the three of you are able to open it, but it requires. You don't even have really the option of going for a conventional manual release. You wind up having to pry the door open partway because of the damage sustained.
Got it.
And
okay.
The bridge is a tangled mess of like conduits that have been pretty severely damaged or knocked down, bulkheads that are bent all out of shape. The littering of space rocks and other detritus that have just sprayed around, and unfortunately, in a few cases, the signs of floating guardsmen and women who did their duty solemnly and sold their lives dearly in this battle.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
Yes, it is.
Just get things done and get out of here as soon as possible.
The ravages of war. Not a pleasant sight.
Agreed. Let's try not to focus on the grim and focus on the job at hand. Sheara, where can we best access the ship's logs and the data that we need?
Hopefully one of the consoles on the bridge, if it's still intact. We'll probably have to supply some power to it. But hopefully from there.
Are all of the consoles like completely dead, or are any of them like flickering or showing any signs of life?
I will give you that a quick look over of a tricorder, and most especially from Romanov's, would suggest that there might be some inklings of reserve power still left in some of the systems up here. There are indeed consoles that have blown out from the usual power spikes, or others that were shattered or rended from their place. But you do see that there are a couple of consoles still like sufficiently intact and not so damaged by the other hazards in this room as for you to be able to access it. I'd say the most prominent one probably has not necessarily draped over it because the pull of gravity no longer adheres them, but the sort of floating around it appears to be a guardsman that seems to have succumbed to their wounds long before the ship went dark, pretty much.
Well, once I'm at the computer console, I will begin trying to extract the data.
It will warrant moving the guardsman aside.
Sheara will gently move the body.
The firm and respectful grip, you set them aside, and Romanov, you move to start accessing the console.
She'll mumble something in probably like a variant Russian dialect, which is like something you say to, when you find the dead or something. So.
Okay. With the quiet prayer that you throw that way, you locate what you think to be some sort of button that might re-engage the console, or find a slight way, from what little you know of the Andorian tech, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, you have a focus in, well, you have the reverse engineering understanding, and you know enough about the...
I have reverse engineering.
You know enough about electroplasma power systems to figure out kind of a way to engage with this. And so the computer does actually manage to come online. It seems like there is still just barely a reserve battery feeding into this.
Great. That should be. Does it look like it's enough energy? I mean, usually data systems, don't draw like other stuff on a starship. So if I think it's enough, I'll go ahead and attempt to extract.
All right. This will take us to the...
I'll assist.
Yeah, I'll need you for
using my knowledge of Andorian systems.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This will take us into the
what is this? Control?
I think in this particular case, this would be... Since Sheara is assisting you, I will allow control plus engineering. And Sheara, you may sub in with control and security.
Cool. Thank you.
I am going to spend a point of threat to increase the complication range to 2.
Question, does reverse engineering apply for me, or?
I will allow that. Or computers would honestly be the better focus, which if memory serves you also have.
I do, so whichever one you want to call it. Okay. Let me know when you want me to roll.
Roll.
At your leisure. Well, nothing doing for my
Roll.
complications
Damn.
there because, yeah, Romanov, you pull in 4 successes with Sheara's 1, adding to a total of 5. And with that, I would say that, yeah, you managed to break through the 3 success threshold that I had set, or the difficulty of 3 rather. And so you start getting some telemetry and data that is now starting to pop up on the info screen. Let's see. Sheara, some of the telemetry you are readily able to translate openly, or there are a few data files. So I will treat this, in addition to what I DM'd you, there would be, if you want to ask a question now and be able to share information with the player group, then you can do that here. Alternatively, if you want me to just message you about it so that it can be shared for later, we can wait on some of that.
I think we need to find out why this fleet of ships was out here.
Fair enough. Let's see. So you get a listing of what appeared to be the remnants of, let's see, Task Force Dakana, um, named for the lead ship in this fleet. Evidently, there were signs that they had been tracking some very unusual subspace radio traffic from the Vulcans, and that a group that was sort of in a reserve position to support another action near the Waitan colony seems to have disengaged and made high warp for this area of space some days back. The Andorians decided that whatever the situation was, it warranted some intervention.
Mm-hmm. So they were following this Vulcan fleet.
Which still begs the question what the Vulcan fleet found so interesting out here.
Probably something we need to find on the Vulcan ships.
I will say that you did earn 2 momentum from that roll there, so before anything else, before you move on from from the task, you do have the option to ask other questions before those get drawn into the pool. That one particular question was free, and there are others that I can give you here, of course.
Can I studious with one momentum spend and get 2 questions?
I will allow that.
Okay. I had one question. I don't know if anybody else has any other idea, but my thought was, were there any like intercepted Vulcan communications that might have shed some light on what the Vulcans were doing out here, or was it strictly like the movement of the troops basically that brought them out? And if there was an intercepted communication, like something in the log about that, what was it?
I'd also ask of how long this Andorian task force has been patrolling that certain area, or were they recently repositioned? If only because I want to see if somebody was aware and or had some hunches and is also looking essentially, but decided to go after follow the person who's already who's also pursuing.
So, like, are you asking like if the Andorians were just sort of like keeping an eye on this area of space because they knew something might be up, or
basically they that somebody retasked them to patrol this area that's in the middle of fucking nowhere, or they've been here for quite a while, as it were. Like, am I making sense? In the sense of like,
yeah, you are. One other thing that could help with that is look at what their first sensor sweeps were for. If they were just coming in quiet, it might be tactical. But at some point in that first few moments of the encounter, they may have been looking for something in particular. Maybe those sensor scans, if I can find them, Mr. Patel, you might be able to decode something about that.
yeah, I do know a thing or two about ship sensors.
So I will look for those codes within the data, and
Okay, now just to straighten that out, I need to get a clear sense of who are asking which questions, or like what the exact nature of the questions. So I've already forgotten the idea that Drone had brought in for that first one. The second one I know pertained to. Oh, I think that Drone, you were asking about what the nature was regarding the intercepted communications, or whether it was just like
So
some sort of.
they intercepted like a sensor reading that the Vulcans were moving out here, and they decided to intervene. Is what I understood. But I want to know: did they only intercept like a sensor reading, or did they also get some kind of communication that they were able to hone in on, like, I don't know, between the Vulcans and High Command or whatever, that would have like shed a little bit more light on why the Vulcans were suddenly redeployed out here? So that was my question 1. Question 2 was the one from
Panda about
Sharp.
like, yeah, the whether
Right.
they were just out here patrolling or if they were on some special disposition or like what their
if
status
they
was.
were if they've been patrolling here for a while, or they were just suddenly miraculously reordered to change their position to this direction.
Yeah, and then I think Brian's suggestion wasn't a question; it was a roll.
Oh, I was proposing it to you. That was role play straight to you. Like, what do you think? Should I look for that? But yeah, I'll make a roll if you wish.
Well, I mean, if the idea is that it is in support of a particular question, then I don't think the roll makes sense when we're already using the momentum to do that. For those unfamiliar with the particular practice, momentum, the tokens that characters can earn for beating the threshold of success on their task on the tasks that I give them, it can unlock numerous opportunities for players to either basically well, to buy additional dice and help them roll for later on. It can also be used to create certain narrative advantages, and of course, it can be used here to obtain information for questions. And with regard to these two questions, what I can give you, Patel, is that what you can discern is that while the Andorians have not been able to, it seems, break the Vulcan encryption, they were able to trace the comm traffic. Apparently, this was indeed something directed from the High Command itself um, in order to verify this. It seems as though there'd actually been a few bits of traffic. One signal that had been relayed from Alpha Centauri, where you do know there is a slight Vulcan presence. Then there was a direct broadcast from the High Command, it seems, sometime afterwards that they were monitoring. So this does give you the interesting sense that, given the amount of time they were observing this, it seems as though they were arrayed on a definitely something more on the relative flank of the operations. Or like they were further out than usual in order to be able to intercept signals so close to Earth. Based on that, I think that Sheara, you could also find that this group was apparently this task force had been previously situated much nearer to Axanar. It was actually probably very nearly being. There had been orders that you might have found suggesting that they were going to head to Indirax, one of the major fortress worlds of the Empire, when they were diverted from. They apparently received orders to divert and make best speed to this area of space and pursue the Vulcans. The Imperial Guard, there's no sign of any orders like specifying the nature of the objective. There's no communication that appears to have survived on that end. However, this was apparently given a very high priority.
Higher than directly supporting the war effort.
Yes, communication traffic is damn peculiar, but it would make sense given what we know that Kara told us about contacting the Institute on Alpha Centauri originally. And so it seems like they intercepted or they received some message and routed it along to the High Command, who reacted immediately. Interesting. Any luck on figuring out like the initial sensor report from when the Andorian fleet first came on station? So the question from Panda.
Well, that's kind of what I was aiming to get at there.
That was a lead-in.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the sense that they've been placed there. The group actually, from what other records you can get, seems to have been a bit more ad hoc. It seems as though this has already seen some battles, particularly around Waitan and on a few other like frontier segments, and that this task force was kind of cobbled together sometime in the past few weeks. Other than that, you don't know much more. Or like, there isn't much more about its operations that you are able to pull immediately. So,
Okay.
anything else that you would want to find out here? If you want to, I believe there's still a point of momentum on the board that could be applied to a question, or could go into go to your pool.
I'll look over at Patel and say, I wonder whether they made any calibrations to the sensors that were out of the ordinary.
You mean looking for something maybe unconventional in this part of space?
Yes.
It's a fascinating theory, but with the equipment and the stage the status that it's in, I don't necessarily know if we'll be able to ascertain that, but we can always try.
Well, I would look at it from the computer point of view, in that the types of data being collected from the sensor and the commands going into it might be slightly different, but I'm not the sensor guy, you are. But I can maybe isolate the data for you to look at.
Okay. Yeah. Can I try to access that data then from the computer, like what it was querying the ship sensors for before
You can
shit hit the fan?
you can attempt to investigate that, but as you are attempting to do so, Sheara, your look continues to go over the you continue to look over the console and engage with some components here, and you notice this tiny little bit of telemetry here.
Oh, right. It's on the roll 20.
Mhm.
It looks like there was a signal sent out, a military code that's used by our intelligence services. Basically ordering any personnel to respond and assist them in achieving whatever objectives they want. It's usually considered a pretty vital objective.
Like a distress call or something else?
Not really a distress call. More like, I need all kind of backup here now.
Oh fuck.
Well, pack it in.
Yeah. It is, yeah, it is being broadcast. So could be that more Andorian ships show up.
Okay. I'll open a comm frequency back to the ship.
This is Aegis. Go ahead there, OA team.
Aegis, it sounds like there is an active beacon on this wreck that is broadcasting back to Andorian command, basically asking for reinforcements. Be on the alert that we may have company in the near future. Requesting direction from the captain. Should we continue to investigate or head back to Aegis?
Is it an open mic, Zach, or?
It is. Crichton.
All right. She'll just say, Crichton, Sound General Quarters, Commission Red.
We've been in action stations this whole time, Colonel.
All right. Out of character, I forgot which condition we were on. All right. She'll just say 2 more minutes to get as much A as you can, and then pack it home. I want everybody back home. We're leaving.
Copy that. Landing party out.
While this is going on, let's see. First, as your group is packing it in, let me ask: Soral, is there anything in particular that you want to say is happening on the Vulcan ship, or that you are that you would want to relay to them, or would you be just happy to say that Soral did Soral did X, Y, and Z and is on his way back now as well?
I'm happy to keep that short. There's probably about the same, like retrieving data, scans, anything that seems useful about like what happened here and why they be here, and might be some more answers, hopefully, because the Vulcans were the ones chasing. But yeah, that'd be enough.
All right. In that case, yeah, Crichton will report whilst the camera is sort of sent on the bridge or focused on the bridge. Um, let's see, what is it? Okay, yeah, Crichton will report. Uh, Sir, Mr. Soral reports he is on his way back. The I have the other signal copied to the shuttle pod, so Chief Justice will be able to bring that in very quickly as well.
All right, Conley, get us closer to the Andorian ship. Let's cut a bit of the drive for them. Notify Soral these coordinates for a rendezvous if he does not arrive here on time. The moment that the Andorian search party is picked up, Conley, I want you to go a maximum warp into this location.
Sure thing. And Conley will say, I should be able to get us up to probably just shy of warp 4 in pretty short order if with engine room's last assessment.
As much as you can, Conley.
All right. Let's see. So, yeah, with that, I'll ask: are there any parting? Let's see. Let's see. Before we leave with the Andorian ship, as Patel, Sheara, and Romanov are walking out, does anyone want to announce any particular actions or other things that they would do, or is it just everyone quickly tries to move aside?
Guys,
I got nothing.
how about the other team?
Yeah. Well, actually, I realize Drone is away at the moment, so I'll just say that yeah, he's content to pack it in. Romanov, anything that you would do?
Unless there's other data I can think of grabbing. One thing I'll grab, look over at Sheara and, just make sure she's comfortable with this, but I'll grab the cargo manifest. Maybe there's something on there. Or they were preparing their cargo bays for a certain type of object.
That's fine. Yeah.
Any final look around the room or anything for you, Sheara?
No, let's get off this nightmare.
All right. So you yeah, all of you walk off and depart the ships. We get the exterior of we get the exterior shot of both shuttles sequentially boarding the Aegis. Amongst the hulks, the Aegis is presently not. The Aegis like uses it like nestles in among them just to get closer to the shuttles, and as soon as both are cleared, they are able to reverse engines and back out and quickly jump to warp. So there's no worry there's no worry dealing with anything that's imminently there. Although, as far as sensors tell you, nobody appears to be on course for the field. So, for that
All right,
time,
I will have Conley though double back and whatnot just to make sure that there's any tail that we shake them off.
copy that. So we'll leave things on the warp screen for now. And just give you the time to sort of run around. So let's see. In the midst of all of this, while the while the shuttles were docking, I'd particularly like to jump in with let's see. Sorry, just misplaced. Where here? Oh. There we go. So in particular, okay, sorry, audio issue here. Soral, as you once the docking procedure was complete and you start debarking your guests, there is a little bit. It seems as though the analysis has progressed in the time since you were on the ship. Obviously, you had to delay the trip out there because you needed to upload or you needed to download the data from the Lily in order to proceed. But it seems as though there is a little something more at present now. And that will just be for your review. You can bring it up as you wish, but I guess we'll cut around the ship for now until we have something we want to do with that. Let's see here. So, oh, apologies. I'm just losing my train of thought here. I think the stream gremlins have now gotten into my brain at this point.
Certainly can mess people up when things are suddenly not go right, and now you're just bothered by the idea of what could have went wrong.
Yep. Okay, so I guess question remains: what would anyone want to do anything? Hold particular scenes of any sort, or I know last time there was at least discussion of a possible gym scene that we had delayed because of more pressing concerns, and there was of course the analysis that was just starting at the end of last session. So does anyone want to pursue a particular avenue or otherwise run anything?
Well, shall we do the gym scene, my friend?
Yeah, I'm happy to do gym scene.
Okay. So then let's go back to Theater of the Mind. A little bit of time has elapsed since everything since you completed everything. The information from the let's see, the information from the ship, such that you are pulling off, is being run through the computers right now. While you're able to supply some insights to it, you found that a good number of the files were damaged, and that the recovery necessary is a little outside of your skill set, Sheara. So they've basically given you the come back later for more information. And no other duty to tend to at the moment, you basically have the opportunity to decompress for a little stretch of time, and I believe established one way you'd be going about that would be heading out to the gym.
Yep, good way to relieve stress.
All right, so we find Sheara. I presume that she's by this point found a proper punching bag.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Yes, she's hogtied Crichton and strung him from the ceiling.
Oh, the things I do to improve morale.
After a few minutes, the captain will come in her gym gear. Punch that any harder now to find another replacement for a punching bag. So I like put a hole through it.
Seem to be going through a lot of them.
I think eventually the quartermaster is gonna give us a very stern word, you and I.
Well, maybe Starfleet can do some research into improving the structural integrity of the punching bag.
Helping any?
Maybe.
That's a no. She says.
Probably a no.
She's just walking over to the mat. So, how about I give you some that probably will help? No ranks, no eyes. I think any officer wants to punch their captain here once in a while, and I think definitely it matters. Or probably pointy at this point.
She'll go over to the mat.
Up for it?
We'll see how a couple rounds go.
She'll just get into position and ready. Just don't hold. Just do. I'll make this order. The order for the moment, for the next 5 minutes. Don't hold back. I won't.
Sheara nods, and we'll take up a fighting stance.
Okay, so you may decide amongst yourselves whom wishes to take the first shot, but this will be a contested daring plus security roll. And I will ask as you make your attacks, fluff them however you wish. Give us in order to help us establish the exactly how you try to attack and like what you do.
I think Sheara will go on the offensive first.
All right.
That's okay with Panda.
That's fine with me. How are you gonna
Okay.
fluff this?
Okay. Right, so you said daring security.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Yep, okay. Yeah, hand-to-hand combat, so focus will apply throughout this. Let's buy a die. Let's buy a extra dice using fret.
I see.
You said
will-
don't hold back.
I will take that point
In
of
fact,
threat.
that was an order. So what I do now, I do because of the captain.
Don't hold back. Proceeds to break the captain's neck.
For duty.
She ordered me to snap her spine. I'm sorry.
That's the point when Sheara just rips her face mask off and it's just a Klingon underneath.
Okay, alright. Yeah, so down security, 3 dice. Roll that. I'm gonna re-roll that one. There you go, 4.
Okay, so Sheara is
Ooh.
coming in strong with 4 successes.
All right, I'm gonna spend momentum. To give me a 3rd die. I have close quarters combat, and yeah. All right, let's go.
4 successes. Okay, so that is a tie there. However, the ties do go to the defender. So the general flow of however you would fluff this would be that, like, you would probably be fairly evenly matched, but that Sheara would either by tactic or just sheer force would just be able to get through and land a blow.
No, it goes to the defender, not offender, right? You said.
Well, in the past I have run it that way, but as I've
All
gone
right,
through
I
these
was
campaigns,
I was making sure of the clarity. Yeah.
Yep. I've actually.
So, how would you like to fluff this, Greg?
Let's see what damage happens first.
So that would actually depend upon the type of strike that you are going for. And as a as a reminder, for a melee combat, there are 4 different options. The disengage, which is not what we're doing here, obviously.
No.
a grapple, which would impose a grappled complication and prevent them from doing anything other than breaking free. That would require fitness and security in order to do so. And it would limit their ability to attack a grapple or the opponent who is grappling them. You also would gain momentum for all melee attacks against them while they're grappled. There is the shove option, where essentially you are making an attack, but when the challenge dice are rolled for your unarmed strike, you don't count any of the numbers. You don't impose points of stress on them. All that you do is basically evaluate whether the knockdown effect has been triggered. And then finally, there is just the simple strike, which is the basic you hit them, you do damage to them. Effects are evaluated normally, and then you let them take the next move.
In that case, let's just start with something simple. So, Sheara will move forward, throw a left hook, expecting that to be blocked, and when it is, she'll strike with her right towards Lillian's stomach.
To show a bit of power between the two of them, because they're both very capable, she was also planning going for a left hook, so they we actually countered each other with our fists. You know, that sort of like both our fists contact.
That
crackle.
The anime punch.
Ow!
Or like both characters punching.
Knuckle on knuckle. Ow!
Yeah.
Well, suffice to say that while both your fists make contact or bloody well near close to it, the momentary the momentary stun and like disconcerting feeling of like pain in both
Yeah.
your hands
Oh,
from
for sure.
that. Sheara is the quicker one to recover and manages to land a body blow under your guard and go right in for the stomach, landing that strike. So go ahead and roll damage for unarmed strike, please, Craig.
Unarmed strike.
Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, with one of those being an effect. So that would be enough to deal an injury, Captain. Uh, Albeit a non-lethal one, of course, and that is going to send you to the floor because of knockdown. So the question becomes: are you going to try to ignore the injury and get back up?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Mako.
That
Yeah.
So I think that does cost uh, either your determination, or a point of determination, or 2 momentum or threat, and you expended a point of momentum. So the question is, how are you going about doing that?
Yeah, we're only down to 1 point of momentum.
Yeah, and I don't. You know what? You did it. This is my one-off too. So yeah, I'll give you 2 threat.
I will take the 2 points of threat. Um, yeah, you managed to rise back to your feet. You came up from that a bit winded. Like, if she'd landed it higher, then you would have gotten a punch like right near your solar plexus, and that would have
Oh yeah, that would have been down. I would have been down hard.
yeah. Thankfully, while you missed the opportunity to block, you were able to kind of tense yourself enough to like root for the damage that was, or for the blow that was coming in. It was pretty rough, and you probably couldn't take that type of walloping all fight, but yeah, you're at least still on your feet. As a reminder, you do have the option to, if you opt not to take an immediate strike, you do have the option to either use the recovery task, which is a fitness and command move that will allow you to regain 2 points of stress. It also allows you to be able to you are allowed to ignore an injury again, obviously at the same momentum or threat cost.
All right, I'm going to go for a strike. I'm basically when I get hit in the stomach, I'm going for just since she's with deep in, I'm just going to rise my elbow and try to clock her underneath the jaw, uppercut her with my elbow essentially. And I'm going to spend my determination here.
Okay, what value are you calling into play here?
I don't start fights; I finish them.
Ooh, it's a little spicy there.
And I will also spend a momentum, last momentum to get an extra die. So we can try to gain some momentum here. And here we go. And I get to reroll that.
All right, so that will be 3 successes from Sharp on the board.
Up to 5 because of termination.
That's right, of course, with the auto crit.
Cool.
Wait,
I will.
Sorry, just
I
to
will
double
give you a
check.
point of. Oh, sorry.
Just to clarify, where was the reroll on that? I forget, Sharp. Did you have
Oh
caution?
no, I don't get a reroll. So yeah, it's only 4.
Okay, 4
'Cause
successes.
Command. Yeah, I'm so used to cautious command. That's what I'm rolling most of the time.
Yep.
So
It would have to have
Yeah,
been
you're right.
bold security here, but yeah. Okay, so 4 dice, that allows you or rather, uh, wait, did you,
Okay,
also,
yes.
did you spend that last momentum in order
also I get my
to,
momentum back.
okay, did you spend the,
Yeah, yes I did. We're at 0 momentum right now.
okay, sorry, let me pull that out of the pool, or, like, you've still got the hand there. I'll just recall that. And yes, you get your determination back. All right. So all that aside, I'm so sorry to interrupt there, Craig. But you
Yep.
are now free to.
It's all right.
mount your
Yes, I'll
dice.
give you a point of threat for an extra dice.
Copy that.
I'm going to re-roll that 0. 3 only.
Okay. So Sheara will score 3 successes to Panda's 4,
4.
or Sharp's 4 in this case. Sharp, you come in for the attack. How are you going about your counteroffensive here?
I basically grab her arm, try to yank her almost as if I was going to grapple, but instead, when she's trying to brace, I will go for just an elbow uppercut, essentially, to the lower jaw, chin.
Okay. Then give me damage dice. I must ask, are we going? We're going for another strike here.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
All right.
All right, damage dice. I have Venom Strike. There we go.
Yep. That is four. 4 points of damage plus the well, it's nothing added to that, but that is a knockdown, so it will not be enough to cause an injury, but you do manage to get around Sheara's guard here as well, and land the strike to her chin. It is going to be just enough, Sheara, to knock you off balance and send you back to the ground as well.
How are we starting so far? She says with great teeth.
Starting okay. Can I just say, a couple of weeks ago you said you would try to help me in ways. Might be paraphrasing.
When I can.
Yeah. Putting me in a position where I have to be relieved of duty. Probably not what the help was there for, right?
She shakes her head.
She'll get up and launch another attack.
Okay, roll it. Let's not add more threat. Let's just do normal rolls.
Do you want to add threat?
Yes, I do.
Damn it. We're gonna blow up because of this fight. All right.
Because I realize this always cuts off the points of threat. I'm already up to 16 points, just for the record. And I will take one more at least for bold security. Of course, you can always buy more dice if you want, Sheara. Don't let me stop you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just don't hold back. I'll give you 6 points of threat and I have all the dice.
Yeah.
No. That's try to be sensible.
Yeah.
About
it's like
at least vaguely sensible.
Yeah. Be reasonable, Sheara. I am being reasonable. Only gives 1 point of threat.
Oh god. Okay.
All right. 4 points of success. Captain, how do you answer? Or
Oh
how
man,
do you...
I'm rolling freaking hot right now. All right.
Yep. Unless you just completely forget and she so disarms you with the question that you can't catch the strike.
No, I'm burning another determination.
Going for the I don't start fights, I finish them option.
Yep.
All right.
And then let's just go. Also, freaking 3.
Yep. So with the determination giving you the auto crit, you manage 3 successes to Sheara's 4.
Then I get back.
Yep, you do still get your determination back because of the veteran talent, and you rolled an effect there. Unfortunately, it is not enough to withstand Sheara's next assault. What type of strike do you pull here, Sheara?
Yeah, I. This time I'm gonna basically sweep the leg.
Ooh, very good. Do you want to treat this as like a proper shove? Or do you want to treat this as a shove where it just knocks her to the ground without dealing damage? Or do you want to have like a follow-up strike as she's on the ground to say that you landed a good body blow while she's down?
Yeah. So sweep the leg and then follow through with I don't know, like a reply with an elbow again to the stomach.
Copy that.
Humans seem weak around the stomach.
Give me your best security. Give me your best unarmed strike there.
Unarmed strike.
Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 points of damage plus the 2 effects there, which mean that you are getting knocked down. So, yeah, she will come in again, and as you are readying yourself for another hit to the core, she goes in low and manages to catch you under the legs sharp. You feel your feet coming out from under you and the rest of your body hitting the mat, and before you have the opportunity to roll properly, she comes down with with an elbow strike right into your side there, and I dare say there's probably a rib that cracks that you don't quite hear, but
sure.
man, do you feel it.
Yeah. She can't help but laugh a little bit in the pain. Okay. Yeah, that's a rib. Oh. I'm helping you right now, aren't I? Jesus. But
Yes, you are.
Please takes a moment to lay there for a second.
Shearer will get off. Did I really break a rib? She actually looked genuinely concerned.
She weighs it. Maybe a fracture.
Oh,
But correct.
To be fair, you broke my nose last time, so
she just grins and small nods. I think we're even then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm sorry if I undermined your authority.
I'm sorry for putting you in that position, but well, she reaches out for a hand.
Shearer will give it.
I pull her in and just wallop her with my other hand.
Oh, the stealthy strike. I am going to say that while this underhanded blow might have taken her by surprise, it is going to be more difficult because of the injury. I'll allow.
For sure.
I'll
That's
allow.
fine.
Would you object to being caught by surprise here, Sheara? If the difficulty will just go up for him between being prone and injured. So you will, if he doesn't make it, basically Sheara will have the
Actually,
opportunity to.
I'm not going to go for a strike. I'm going to go for a grapple. I'm just going to just roll her into into like a boa type of grapple and just try to pull her arm back and try like almost as if I'm going to dislocate it. I don't know what it's called, but
Well, I'll tell you what. Do we at least? Do you guys just want to fluff the idea of the grapple? Because
Yeah, sure.
at this point, I think Sharp is in no condition to seriously impose it or to put up with Sheara's resistance. But it is more that you'd be well situated to break out. But do you have any objection there, Panda?
yeah,
Go fluff. No need to add more threat now.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh god,
Speaking of,
we've done enough damage to ourselves.
Yep.
Oh,
Off
for
that
sure.
last strike, there was.
She'll just say, ultimately though, she says with another chuckle while I'm having the grapple. This sort of a question is going to come up at some point. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yes. Very irritating questions.
Calling it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Pats you on the back. Gets up, though it's a
Humans.
very stifled getting up.
I hate being in a position where I have to choose between this ship and the Imperial Guard.
It's certainly not a fun one. But these sort of difficult questions come with the further up command you get. If you think that's a problem, wait until you become captain. Jesus.
Well, I think, thankfully, they're not going to put an Endorian in charge of a Starfleet vessel.
And
You
the
never
finger
know.
on the monkey's paw curls.
She just chuckles. You never know. But regardless, it seems like I imagine you're not going to be just comfortable being a security officer decades from now. You want to go higher, right?
Yes.
It's going to come with more difficult questions, more difficult answers. And certainly you're being put to the test right now more than any other security officer I know.
I'm not sure if I'm passing this test.
Learning through lessons, Sheara. Learning through our mistakes. Certainly, I'm I'll be honest, probably a little too young to be a captain, but here I am. I'm trying to make the most of it. And I will make the most of it. And I have you. You get to have good officers. You find good officers to remind you which direction you're going. And I'm sure Romanov is there for you. Right?
She is. For what it's worth, in my limited experience, you're a good captain.
Glad to hear it.
And I'm happy to
Sheara,
serve under you.
she smiles and nods, winces a little bit when she nods because the rib probably still hurts. She'll just say, Sheara, I understand. Eula. Can I call you Eula?
Yeah.
Eula, I understand that you are in a number of issues right now. A lot of loyalties are putting you to the test. But as captain, my priority is the people on this ship and every single colony that surrounds or that is within Earth's territory. And we are in the middle of giants. I'm not certainly certainly there are those opinions, much like there are in Doria or any other country, that have very differing opinions of how to handle that. But right now, I am just trying to ensure the safety of those people. And I have people I trust, and people I hope you can trust too. And at the very least, can trust onto my decisions on where it's taking that. Have faith in my decisions.
Yes, sir.
And I know that I put that to the test no more than a couple hours ago. But I had you, Patel, and everyone else to tell me that I should approach it from a different manner. Do you have faith in me right now, Lieutenant?
I do.
Then I need whatever you can. Everything you can from what we cover from that database. The more we know about which ships are where, the better we can handle our defense fleets and ensure that there are no collateral than there should be between this war. That's all I'm asking from you and what we got from that wreckage. Because you were right. I overstepped. But this in of itself, I imagine, is going to be an overstep for you. And I'm telling you, both as a person you have faith in, as well as your captain who's ordering you and giving you that security that I have ordered you to give me everything you can from that database. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Well, she slowly gets up and then haunches a little bit because, ow.
Do you need help getting to sick bay?
She gives you like a very pointed look of like, don't finish that sentence.
Well, she finishes the sentence. If it's just the final bit of need, or because the captain cheated and got her in a lock like that at the end.
Yeah, she just gives you a firm look and then a tight smile. I can find my way to the mid bay.
Okay, you want me to call ahead? Let
Lieutenant.
Dr. Lambeth and
Lieutenant. It was funny the first time. Not really, but I tolerate it. Don't try it twice.
Yes, sir. And she's got a small grin on her face.
Yeah. She smiles right back. Feeling better?
For now.
All right. Dismissed.
She'll pack her things and go find a shower.
She just waits till she leaves and then just sucks in her breath. I don't miss those. Don't miss those at all. And just makes her way to the med bay for a what we best phrased it as a gym related accident.
Yeah.
Weight fell. A weight fell. Slippery hands.
I fell down some stairs and onto some weights.
Yeah.
Yep. Dr. Lambeth will, I'm sure, give you the usual eye for the for the excuses, but just offer up the usual pain medication. He doesn't hesitate with an anesthetic, to be sure, and so it just gives you I would say a little jab, but he's more sensitive than to actually knock into a rib or anything. More just some light verbal ribbing, let's say.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, be careful not to store your weights down the stairs. Where do we have stairs on the ship? Something like that.
Certainly don't ask the stairs to hit you in that same place twice. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So some time elapses, and a little ways late, like once you are done, while you're in the med bay, you will hear overhead the comm signal. Colonel Sharp, please, or rather, bridge to Colonel Sharp. Colonel Sharp, please acknowledge.
I'm fine, Doc. She says she just slowly waddles her way to the comm. Captain here.
Uh, Sir, I have a little. I've been working through some of the information that wasn't entirely too fragmented. I think I have at least a little more from the Andorian vessel.
I'll be right there. We can discuss it in person.
All right. So, let's see. Let me just move around some tokens. By this time, let's see. People could be back at their normal bridge slots by this time. Before getting too far elsewhere, would anyone want a particular scenes or anything?
Well, do you want to have a scene with the scientists where we like find this information, or just disseminate them, say later at a meeting or something? I feel
Oh,
like a meeting is probably more appropriate because
yeah.
there's not
Well,
really much except like, hey, we found something.
yeah. I certainly think that for things that you have been working on, Soral, it would be good to call on the crew's attention here. And this could be done on the bridge as a sort of like the non-standard meeting room. You could even pull up the information on the main view screen or the MSD instead of going back down to that set. And we could just have all the bridge officers there. Alternatively, yeah, well, yeah. Point is, we could do that. I think that what I have would follow on from the scene that at least I'm setting up for Crichton to relay a little bit of info. Um, but you could certainly be present for that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Before we touch on that, did anybody else have any other things they wanted to do?
Nope, nothing for me.
Okay.
I think
So,
I'm just down in engineering, taking care of stuff. Don't think there's any particular scene.
yeah. Well, in the process of Crichton already giving you reason to be up there, would you want to say that you also have some interesting information?
Yeah. Soral always has interesting information.
Yeah. So Crichton would be sure to relay that as well. Would that change your decision on venue, Captain, or would you prefer to just say, "Oh, we're about to get some more info dumping. Better call everyone up to the bridge."
Yes, I'll do the latter.
Okay. So Romanov, you will get the request to come up as well.
Okay. Hand off engineering to a competent officer and head on up.
All right. So, and let's. A little bit of time will elapse, particularly as Sharp gets changes out of some gym clothes and waits for pain meds to kick in. Sheara, of course, gets the same opportunity, and at the notice after both of you had the opportunity to decompress a little bit, everyone starts making their way up to the bridge. Sharp, I'll say that you might be second to last. The only iffy thing I would think of might be whether Soral's able to make it up as quickly. But well, when you do make it up to the bridge, which I'm just
Well, I mean,
moving
it's
around.
Captain's prerogative. I can always be fashionably late
Fair enough.
because the meeting doesn't start until without me.
Very true. And now that I've sorted out tokens a little bit, let's move things around here. Yeah, Sheara, you would have been aware that Crichton had first and foremost called up with regard to more information on the Andorian situation. So if you prefer to be near his console, then I don't know if everyone wants to just stay at their posts or crowd around Crichton. That I'll leave up to you. Anyway,
I'll stay at my post. Yeah.
yep. So as some of you have taken various positions around the bridge, Crichton is starting to exposit to you, Sharp. Um, well, sir, we're still working on decrypting some other elements. We're trying to piece together information, but I can at least identify part of the factor. I He looks over to you, sure. I'll admit that I'm uncertain as to some of the factors. Apparently, they were bound for Indirax, but they were ordered to depart there. A short time afterwards, the only thing I can indicate is that there was the signal of I'm not sure about the precise protocol. It says I believe broken carver. Being broadcast from that system.
It's it's Sheara does look very suddenly a bit paler. It means that the battle was lost, or there's been a complete breakdown in organized resistance there. That was one of our main fortress worlds.
Out of character, what planet was this?
Indirax.
Hmm. She'll just frown, nod. Anything else, Crichton?
I was picking up sign. Well, at least from some of the data that was present, it does look a little bit like some records might have been expunged, but I can't reconstruct it. The Andorians were very thorough, and the computers were sufficiently battle damaged that if the Andorians had anything more, it is beyond our ability to recover. I am trying to use what little frame of reference we have from the computer to keep an eye open for signals on any known subspace bands, but afraid I wouldn't know what else to look for. If there's anything else that they cleared out. They did do a pretty effective job on that end. I am keeping the broad subspace bands open, but it may be such a well, it may be such a thing where if the lieutenant is at least willing to look for them, she might know something more better than I.
Lieutenant, is there any methods that that the Andorans have oversight regarding their purging systems or any frequencies that coding?
That's a great question. GM, is there anything like that?
I mean, basically when it comes to like protocol in terms of like clearing out information, you know that there's a lot of sensitive stuff that the ships are going to get rid of. The fleets are somewhat compartmentalized because they are used to operating in independent task forces. Anything like covert or like particularly war relevant like communication protocols, knowledge of fleet deployments, critical technology like information, anything that's basically super sensitive is going to get expunged to such a degree if everyone's able to follow the letter of their orders that it would be exceptionally difficult to track. Absent the, you personally might know at least a few interesting communication frequencies. Those are, if Crichton were to show you the traffic, like any signs of traffic, you might be able to pick up a few things that maybe these humans aren't used to looking for. Whether you say anything about that is a whole other issue, but that option remains, of course.
GM.
Yeah.
Or actually, she'll say, Crane, can I look at the nebulous data that were put through the shredder, as it were?
I'll see what I can pull up there. Honestly, I mean, there isn't much there. Or were you referring to? I got that transfer you had, Mr. Soral.
Also nebulous data, but I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing.
No, I was talking about the stuff for the Andorians that just got put through the magnet multiple times. I was going to ask you, if I see it, are there any techniques that I'm aware of to perhaps bring this shit back? I do have a 4 in science.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just give you for free here, Panda.
The answer is no.
Yeah, pretty much. They were
Okay.
detailed, and everything that you've got here says the Andorians probably don't know that much more.
Okay. Mm.
I suspect it might have been the Vulcans who knew more than Andorians. The Andorians were following them.
I'd be happy to run any cleaned up data set through my systems and see what I can find.
But as to the Vulcan data, she looks over to Soral.
Well, much of the same. The only interesting tidbit of the information is that the fleet received an emergency order from the High Command to head to this position as fast as possible. Signed by the Administrator Velas himself.
I'm not familiar with High Administrator Velas.
You mean Administrator Velas, the current head of the Vulcan High Commander, effectively their head of state?
The attentions of Vulcan has not necessarily been in my purview for the last few years. Perhaps you can entertain me, one of you, any of you?
Oh, I would be happy to provide exposition and or post in the Discord just to remind people in the meta. Administrator.
No, but yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Administrator Vlas is the head of the Vulcan High Command. He is known to have been in office for some time. Generally regarded as a competent administrator, and has been managing foreign policy with Earth for an extensive period of time. There was some controversy when he sort of sanctioned the orders establishing the protection around Alpha Centauri, or the task force, rather, that was meant to guarantee their independence, and obviously he would have had to provide his say-so on the attack against Vulcan, or rather Andoria. I mean, that's just what's publicly known, sir. I don't have anything major in terms of like profiles or anything. I could research that, sir.
She just rubs her eye a little bit. Yeah, if you can, please, Crichton. Soral, what's the Vulcan's opinion of Vlas? I know you've been gone for a while, but I'm sure the High Administrator has been also in office for a while.
Oof. Straight up GM question. I mean, Soral gets probably the majority of his news from, well, the news as well. But what does he think of the last stance and politics?
I mean,
Like, what kind of is he? Is he Trump? Is he Putin? Where
he's
are we going here?
honestly, he's more, if I were to draw a modern analogy, and this is very appropriate to the time that Enterprise was around, I'd say he's pretty much the equivalent of a neoconservative in terms of foreign policy. So I could see very much like uh, think more the foreign policy mold of like someone like a Dick Cheney or George W. Bush's more controversial decisions.
He's an imperialist. Without saying he's an imperialist.
I mean, he did try to invade Andoria because they had space nukes, or the space WMDs.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's how that's how we show how peaceful we are by invading everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would relay that in that way. He's very well Vulcan first, I think. This is a phrase that dropped once or twice. So for him to take, and this is me speculating, obviously. So for him to take a significant number of ships, and he kind of also like looks out of the window, probably a bit haunted, out of an active war effort to chase this, must be some value attached to it, to him at least.
Certainly.
And while we're on the topic, Creighton, can you pull up dataset 2, please?
Switching to dataset 2, sir.
And that would be the graphic that you sent me.
Yep.
We got some more through the data and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, and the subspace lanes, whatever, seem to be converging on a region of space. This is as far as we've gone, which is quite a bit of stretch of space, admittedly. So there's quite a high possibility that there are more pieces of the puzzle than we are having at our disposal.
With that, Crichton adds on a bit of data, and an area is projected around, or rather, a sort of rough blob is projected around a segment of the stellar map that displays before you. As you are all looking at it, Connolly gazes around. Oh, geez, that's still pretty big. That's got to be at least 40 light years at its widest point, and ample volume between that. It'd take months to fully survey that with more than just our ship if we were giving it a high detail.
Indeed. So if we're going to find out what's at the bottom of this, we need another piece of the puzzle.
Any idea what or where next for that piece? What do we need to find? Soral? Coordinates? Mathematical formula?
I mean, another archaeological find as the previous two in a similar place. Archaeology isn't really my field of study, you see.
Do we
Looks
not?
over Vitel?
Also not mine, Captain. But do we not have a team of archaeologists visiting on board?
We do. Crichton, can you sum them up here?
Yes, sir. Certainly, sir. within a few minutes, Sloan, Tenkite, Fen, and Dr. Natala are also all on the bridge, and they're looking. They look at the display, look around to all the senior officers being present.
I mean, they've
Ooh.
probably already seen this because they were like, present for when Soral went through the data when he found this.
Yeah. It wasn't completed by then. A lot of the conjecture would have been drawn up later. But yes, they probably saw some of the data starting to come in. So Fen will start with a. Well, I must say this is quite an interesting bit of data you've assembled there. I must say, did we have to pick such a cramped room? What even is this?
The bridge.
Oh, how quaint. Yeah. Sloan will say, I take it this is you living up to your bargain, Captain."
It is. The fruits of your labor. She gestures to the screen.
Yeah, let's see. Huh. Sloan's going to think very carefully. Natala, you said you were at the site on Phalebia, correct? Oh, yes, yes. The Denobulan woman joins in. She says, passing by your consul Patel and uh, providing a warm grin on her way there. That was the site of my last mission before we joined in common cause. So indicating the site there. And then the tripwide acquired this information, Stamaris, and then so this region here is Sloan looks over to you, Soral. Do you suspect this would be the rough region of space where you think that there'd be some other component, perhaps, of this puzzle here?
Are the other two locations inside this area?
The other two locations, if you're looking at the map, they are not there. Stamaris is up there, and Phalebia is over here.
I mean, this is where the subway, subspace, subway. This is where the subway has like branch offices. No, this is the subspace conversions that we are extrapolating from the data. As you can see, it's not complete. Is another piece to the puzzle inside there? I don't know. If we extrapolate from the pieces we have found, probably somewhere in the southeastern quadrant.
I can tell you there's not anything that I would know about on Alpha Centauri like this. I don't know how much more broadly traveled or familiar with literature you are, Commander Patel, but I'm fairly confident that any of the human worlds here, pointing to the planets marked out with the blue circles, I don't think any of those colonies have reported any similar finding. I mean, certainly if someone had spotted an alien temple on Vega or Altair 6 or even Alpha Centauri, that we would have known about it. Especially if it were on Earth. Any of you know anything else? Natala will scratch at her hair a little bit, brushing some of it aside. I did make a trip to Tenebia. The Tenebians are an interesting people. Quadrupeds, actually. Very unique starship design and very hospitable. But they themselves had encountered nothing of the sort. They have their own interesting long-term archaeological background and cultural signifiers, but nothing quite like that. No.
It just leaves the two Tellarite worlds and Fomalhaut.
Well, we were just on Corgosa not too long ago. I can't say that I picked up, well, rather, I can't say, sirs, that I am an archaeologist either, but I did sample the sites a little bit, and I didn't hear anything about that. I mean, unless it's something they were found that had been found earlier, but you know, I guess one would expect it would have been in the tour brochure. He unzips a pocket and pulls out a bit of something in Tellarite script. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere on this one.
So, Fomalhaut then.
Patel starts like rattling off the basic knowledge that he knows about it. It's one of the brightest stars in Earth's sky, and he's pulling up the. I think I'm gonna like pull up the library computer data about like that system.
Yep.
What do we have going on there?
You have this.
A nice blue
Ooh.
star.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'll roll down the info here as well. But yes, you all have that for exposition purposes. And Connolly can can say a little bit here if you don't want to, or if you'd rather that I exposit for you in this case.
It seems like the star is very similar to Vega, at least in terms of its planetary system, but there is signs of an early planetary formation. It looks like there was a mission sent out to this thing 100 years from now, so I can ignore that.
Oh, that was meant to be 2156. My apologies.
Okay, no worries.
I'll
Yeah, it looks like there was a mission sent out here. Actually, is this 3 years from now as well, or are we in the
2 years.
2060s?
You're in the 2250. Oh shit, that was actually meant. I must have just completely lost my brain at some point. The gremlins started with my brain. It's meant to be 2156. So.
Stop looking into the future.
Yeah, but still in the future, it's 2154.
Yep, you are currently 2154. This is set to go out in, or there's set to be a survey mission.
Oh, was
there in
set for yeah, it was set. Not rather, there has been. Yeah,
the
okay.
mission is planned, but it hasn't been launched yet.
Yeah, it looks like the United Space Probe Agency is planning a long-term mission there for the next few years, but they're still in the planning stages.
Yep. Connolly jumps in. I think that the Aldrin was off doing some follow-up surveys around Gamma Pavonis, or they were rather en route. At least before the last crisis, I got some sense that ships were getting pulled back a little close to home. So, who knows how that's going to affect all the other survey missions.
It would seem to me, though, that a protoplanet system would probably be not the highest likelihood of finding archaeological evidence, but one never knows.
Yeah. They did speculate that there were planets in the system sometime earlier, sirs. I remember hearing about this. Astrogation a little bit of a hobby. It was actually believed to be the site of one of the first exoplanet detections, but they decided that it was more likely some sort of cometary debris, or rather debris from some sort of encounter. It was a bit of a mess there. There are unusual gravitational signatures inside the belt which could always suggest other planets, but, well, none of the probe work beforehand or telescopic work has ever actually verified it. With that, the level of interference from that circumstellar disk is it's made long distance surveying very troublesome.
She just eyes the data and looks over to Connolly with a small smile. You ready to earn your paycheck?
Oh, so long as are you looking for me to get you through that mess, or are you trying to
If
get me to
need
do it
be.
without scratching the paint?
I did grab, or I did hear you were one of the best. Show your game.
Well, right. Well, we can definitely get underway there, sir. It's going to be at least a few days at warp, uh, on high warp at that, in order to get there in time. Or, well, probably. I can get us there by next session, no sweat, sir.
She looks over to Sloane. Given the fact of how high profile the search is, you don't mind if we have a bit of radio silence on the way there, do you, Miss Sloane?
Well, the last time I called for home, I seemed to have brought down a lot of attention on myself. So long as our agreement holds, Captain, I am prepared to accept those terms.
Great. She looks over to Crichton. Notify Starfleet that we're making our way to. What were the other options? What were the possible options? The good choices before?
Well, the only ones we hadn't verified before were Corgosa, Vasa, the two Tellerate systems in the southern section, and then, well, we haven't been to Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut was the planet we haven't seen before. The other systems contain human colonies: Arcturus, Altair, Vega, Galt. Obviously, Earth is somehow in this zone as well, and Alpha Centauri is too.
Inform Starfleet that we're making our way to Arcturus, and then Crichton inform our more back channels of where we're actually going. She says,
Aye, sir.
i.e., her wife and father-in-law, people she trusts, of where we're actually fucking going.
I'll get in touch with the missus. Okay.
All right.
Question is always which one?
I mean, they're both in the same location now, so yes. Yeah, she'll just say, Conley, punch it. Let's go.
All right. Taking us out, and with that, Connolly's going to adjust your course, and the Aegis will set its new course for Fomalhaut. And so, amidst all of that, I think this could be actually, if we want to call this a point to stop that, then we could do that now. Alternatively, does anybody have would anyone want a particular, like, parting scene or something to leave us a cliffhanger? Or any teaser?
I got nothing.
No, me neither.
Same.
Okay. Well,
Just, would there be any preparations, engines I could?
probably not, or nothing so special.
Okay.
I would order Crichton to have a communications blackout once the messages are sent.
Okay, so Crichton will go about setting this up, and he'll wave you over, Sheara. Oh, well, sir, I've gotten the messages out over appropriate broadcasting channels, and I'm exercising a communications blackout. If you would like, sir, I make sure, Lieutenant, that I get any information I have over to you with regard to our like any other broadcasts that I'm monitoring, in case you can give me a few pointers here and there or anything.
Yes, so she'll give him a range of a range of signals to perhaps scan
Okay,
to keep an eye on.
I'll relay some telemetry to you as well. And sure enough, he will wind up doing some of that. Sheara, as amidst that, I will ask for an insight and security channel.
Okay. Insight and security. Okay, what's the difficulty?
Let's call this difficulty of 2.
Difficulty of 2. Da, 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 okay, what's one more? Let's give you a point for it.
No, don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
The GM accepts your threat for 18 points.
Oh god. Yes, we got a lot of
I mean,
momentum.
look, many people already died for this entire plot point. He needs 18 threat to make more people die.
Well, that's 4. That's
Rather,
4 over, so we get like 4 momentum from that roll.
I should give that properly just to Panda here. So yeah, that is 5 momentum in total that you are going to have at the start of next session with your with those 4 successes there, or rather 6 successes, 4 over what you needed.
So much Fred. But now we've got some momentum,
Yep,
Yeah.
that we do. That we do.
What the hell was that roll for?
You are looking. You wind up looking through the data that Creighton is relaying to you, and you are noticing on some of the there are some interesting things on some of the other bands, or on the lower level EM bands that would usually be a site for Andorian military traffic.
Okay, I'll call the captain over on this one.
She'll get up. Something the matter?
So these are secure channels for Andorian services.
She just nods.
One is specifically requesting a response from me.
From whom?
Well, we know that we know that on that Andorian fleet there's a broadcast being sent out, which is done by intelligence services to bring in more assets. It's probably whoever that is. Although I'm astonished that anyone would have survived, although there was a possibility one Andorian ship made it out of that.
I'm proud that you came to me on this. How would you want to approach this? What would your recommendation be as my security officer?
Well, I doubt there's any harm in human or Andorian vessels running into each other. Should a Vulcan vessel then spot an Andorian and a human vessel together, that may start raising questions from them, but I can respond.
Is it a hailing frequency or simply
I will make it clear to them that my channel's not entirely secure, i.e. I've got Starfleet eyes who will see the communications.
It could also be a potential to see what exactly is behind the hood of this, the current moment.
Could be.
And
They
with some of that,
they
we
might
definitely-
they might not know any more than we do, but on the other hand, they might know a lot more.
they might also be looking for someone who is certainly open to ideas of redemption and whatever perceived eyes is going on right now, and accounting on the desperation. But how likely were you going to look at this frequency?
How likely was it? Well, pretty likely it's one of our security channels. So if there's anything that we're wanting to send, I think we should respond. I'll make it clear to them that there's non-Imperial Guard people who will be looking over my shoulder, so whoever's on the other end of this will get to decide what information they share.
I think at the moment, since we don't know who's on the other end, and likely could be as much of a conspirator as it is a helpful individual, just simply respond saying that you are, willing to receive them, and we'll see where it goes from there. If you see more friendly face, then certainly you can inform them. Otherwise, I'd rather to get as much advantage as we can in this situation. Does that make sense? Out of character? Does that make sense?
Yes, just about.
Yeah. It is more or less of, we have no fucking idea. They could easily be somebody who is being all like, hey, you want to get back in, right? Just do this evil thing, and saying, hey, I am here exposed with a whole bunch of people. It's probably make them shut up before they out themselves, right? So, it's probably to see initially of what the hell they want to talk about, and then you could be like, oh, hey, by the way,
They should be. Well, they're in. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking this through.
I will say, Sheara, while there's the general gist of intent behind these orders, you know that there are specific coded responses. These are known to that are known to you. You may decide whether you are sending an basically option 1, the general all clear asset standing by, or awaiting orders type signal, or the communications compromised, be advised channel is unsecure but prepared to respond type response. We'll call that option 2. Between both of those, as you respond, I would like you to DM me which one you have selected.
Ooh. Nice. Okay.
Goddamn.
Yes, of course, the captain has basically ordered or suggested you send 1, but 2 was 2 would be the proper protocol in this.
The captain is certainly leaving it to you. She trusts you in whatever decision you want, and she'll certainly approach it from whatever decision you want. But just there's more potential if we are careful at first rather than being completely trusting. That was what she was trying to pitch.
Yes. Yeah. I think Sheara is in the business of trying to build bridges here, and so she'll probably go with. She'd probably go with option 2, I think. Because, as I said, she's trying to build bridges between Earth and Andoria, and if Andoria suddenly finds that, hey, Earth has compromised one of our secure channels.
That's also fair. And something you can tell the captain, too.
Yeah,
Are you going to
Got-
tell the captain that as well?
I think she'll make that point.
She'll just nod. Fair enough.
But frankly, I'm up against the edge of what I'm should be doing, even by letting you know about these channels.
Certainly true.
Copy that.
Let's see if we can just build some trust here between whoever this is and us.
Let's see if they'll even give a response back.
Well, yes.
All right. The order is relayed, and Crate is working with you to make sure that the comms are going out. After a few moments, minutes that seem to stretch on almost like hours, you receive a coded reply.
Oh, let's enroll 20 again.
Yep. The system resolves to coded Andorian that because of the nature of it, it is not something that the universal translator, the communication system, can parse out, but that you are able to, by memory of the protocols, are able to decode, and thus you are left with that moment of that particular message, and I dare say that very personal bit of information. Just to describe to me as you ponder that Sheara's expression.
Oh God. Complex safe.
Mm-hmm.
She is quite worried, I think.
Something the matter, Lieutenant?
They're telling me to stand by. And well, I think it's trying to be reassuring, but I don't know.
How so?
It's 6 words. So it's the last 2 is complex safe, and I'm not sure what complex. But at least it's safe.
Well, we're the first 4.
Await orders, and a name.
She'll just eye Sheara. How many people are eyeing Sheara right now? Because like we're still waiting on waiting in warp, and this is the most dramatic shit going on.
What is it saying? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Right, I'm misreading this because there's a lack of. I think the punctuation kind of threw me. It's saying await orders, Lieutenant. I thought it's saying Lieutenant Pardy. No. It's saying Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Full stop. End of sentence. Pardy complex safe. Right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. My brain short fused there. So no, it's
the gremlins are everywhere, Craig.
yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Right. So it's saying my it's saying my home city's safe.
That's certainly good to hear.
Which is that's good. Yeah. How would they? I guess they have access to my records.
Or it might be someone you know.
B.
Any family in higher echelons or intelligence?
No, I'm the only one in the Imperial Guard or anything like that. Everyone else is in civilian life.
Now you're aware of this?
I don't worry. Look, I've got.
No, I'm just.
I
She
say
just raised a hand.
my mother
From
is a
my own
mechanic.
experience.
My father is a miner. My other father's a cook. My other mother runs a bar. My older
Miss Sheara,
brother's an actor. My younger
Miss
brother's
Sheara,
structural
from
engineer. My
my-
youngest brother's in school.
she raises hands. From my own experience, not everybody who it appears to be, and you would know that. This is at least from my own seeing my own life, right?
I'm sure Dr. Natala's just a little outside of frame, pondering us like, amateurs.
I know. It's like, and Andorians do poly, but not to the extent that Denobulians do. I guess it's good, I suppose. Well, I'll see what orders they send.
Well, I think with that, I think that is about as much as it makes sense to go through right now. So whether you trust them and how how this may impact you as you make your trip to Falmelhot, that becomes a question for our next session, which we will come back to next week. So all of you that are here in the recording and the archives, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. If you ever want to catch us live, we broadcast 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually don't go any later than 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, that is going to be it for us, so we will see you around. Have a good day.